penanggalan, pocong. Hi and welcome to another episode of Urban Kulit. I'm Emilie Oehlers, your friendly host, and thanks for watching again. It's been a while, I know, and we're back. Today I'm with Gavin and Sophie Khoo, and they are going to talk about their new play, Pantang, a docu-play. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
So, what is Pantang, a docu-play?
Well, Pantang is Malay for superstition
Uh-huh.
and of being superstitious. And this play is a collection of true local ghost stories that we have collected via interviews. And we're putting in a theatrical show and to just share ghost stories that we've collected.
Yes, and I'm sure they'll be very scintillating indeed. Already the title
yes,
is...
it's going to be very, very
Yes.
scary but fun and funny at the same time.
And Adi was right, she looked very sad. And suddenly, in front of our eyes, the girl in the photo smiled! I took the photo and I threw it in the canal, then I started running. Then I realized that Adi wasn't following me. So I went back to pull him, but he was frozen and he wouldn't move.
We started collecting stories around December last year,
Yeah.
and by April we had collected quite a few stories, and we thought we would start writing.
Yes.
So we started writing some of the script,
Mhm.
but then after a while we realized that when you're telling a ghost story, ghost stories are all about the same.
Yeah.
So in order to make it interesting for an audience, you have to stage it in different ways.
Mhm.
So if you just sit down and you write, there are only so many ways of staging a story that you can come up with. But Luke and I did it if we worked with actors and if everybody chipped in and we could devise the script, so to speak. You would be able to come up with ways that were more interesting for which we could
Refresh.
in a fresh, interesting way to present the stories, and also hopefully tease out some of the more interesting themes that are underlying all these stories.
Yeah.
What I found really, really interesting about devising this piece is that because the stories are presented in like groups of stories, and like one of my favorite groups is the stories about haunted houses. And at first, we thought that it was just like this a disparate, a disparate number of stories, and they didn't seem to have very much in common. And then, as we devised the piece, we would rehearse something, and then they could go back to write something, and then they come back with something new, and then we would do it again, over and over again. They would come with something that we're happy with. What was really interesting is that after the process is complete, you realize that we've actually teased out what made these stories frightening in the first place, which is that, if a haunting happens in your home, it's like there's this thing that doesn't belong to you or your family who is intruding into your personal space.
Do you have any tips for audiences? Like, are there certain times or places that we have to be afraid of? Just so we know and can get more scared than we are already?
Well, in the course of our preparation,
Yes.
we spoke to someone Sophie knows. This guy called
We call him Robert,
not his real name. Yes. So because he can see spirits, and hence
Robert.
yes, kind of, and we got very interesting information about this world that he can see that we can't. And along the way we interview other people who can see as well, and we found that actually there are some rules about that's consistent, and one of the things that Robert said is that he sees the most spirits between 2 and 4 a.m.
And apparently the highways are a hotbed of activity.
That's
Yes.
3 o'clock,
Yeah.
smack in the middle.
Yes,
It's the
that's
hours
right.
that after clubbing, this is when you go home.
Yes, and sometimes you can wake up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet at 3 a.m.
Or you wake up inexplicably after a dream, and then you check the clock. It's
It's
2:30.
Yeah.
It's 3.
And you were like, oh.
This story happened in the control room of a theatre. During a dress rehearsal, the sound operator kept hearing a strange echo that came over the speakers. He kept fiddling with the soundboard, trying to find a way to get rid of the echo. Perhaps it was a reverb or a loose connection somewhere, but he just couldn't make the echo go away. Finally, he took off his headset and he realized.
Now, where did you get all this information from? You interviewed people. Who are the experts on the Pantang times?
I actually have a friend, well, not just one friend. I know a couple of people who claim that they can see spirits. So, in the course of researching the play, we went to speak to all these different people who, by the way, don't know each other. They're from different circles of friends, and some of them are friends of friends whom whom I interviewed after I got my friends to put me in touch with them. And one thing that really struck me was that they always describe these spirits in the same way. The same words keep cropping up. They all say that the things that they see look like people like you and me, except
Good looking.
some are good looking, some more good looking than others.
Yeah.
Except that they are all a bit translucent, and in that respect, they are different from living people. Yeah, that I found, a bit inexplicable, and it kind of supports what they say,
Yeah,
I guess.
And it was interesting because I mentioned this to another friend, and another friend whose mother can see, and he went, yes, exactly, and he continued telling about it, and it's consistent with what the information that we've collected. So it was very, very interesting, and yeah.
Translucent.
Slightly.
So it's not like too much SK1 or anything.
No,
it's
and no gashing wounds or anything.
Not like in movies.
More like just like people, but a bit different.
Just a little transparent. Okay.
Yes.
And these people had a third eye. The people who told
These
you.
people say they have the third eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
So watch out if you see someone walking down the street and they are not as opaque as the people around them. You might have the third eye and it's just developing right
Don't
now.
walk through them, yeah.
Yeah. What happens actually when you try and walk through them? Just do you feel anything or no?
I don't know. The people who can see them generally give
Just
them a wide berth.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we...
They don't go and lunge
Yeah,
on
no,
them.
they don't go like, let's see what this feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, that makes sense. They're smart people. Yeah. So I know your play is going to be staged at the Goodman Arts Centre in the Black Box.
Yes.
So that's quite a good place as well. It's dark and
It has its own stories.
yes,
which we're going to talk
and-
about in the play.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh,
we've heard stories about what happened there, and we're going to review it at the very
If you come to watch the show, you
Yeah.
can listen to the stories that happen in the Goodman Arts Centre at the Goodman Arts Centre Black.
So bring your
Yes.
Bible or your Quran, she said, or whatever else works for you. Your special water gun with holy water in it, or something like that. So this is site experiential as well. The live play site experiential. You're getting a lot of bang for your butt. Your buck.
Yeah.
And, where are tickets from? Where do you get tickets
Gate
from?
Crash.
Yes.
They're available on Gate Crash.
Yes.
So don't miss it. Pantang, a docuplay. I'm Emilie Oehlers. You've just watched another edition of Urban Kulit. See you soon.